Zilch left, 35 Wichita Macho
Dice
Toe.
right, F5.
Dice right numbers, 3 Jet Spielberg.
Ready? Right. All right, welcome back to the Pre-Snap Pressure Podcast. This is episode 11. I'm Nick Colazzo, of course, joined by Ryan Shapiro on this fabulous Sunday afternoon. Just finished the first slate of NFL games. Both me and you are relatively happy, which is good, right?
Relatively, yes.
Relatively. Me a little bit more than you.
Yeah.
There's you're kind of mad at your team. We're not going to go into that because we're going to talk about college football.
It's not. We don't talk about the NFL here.
We don't. We're talking about college football. This week, upsets. Had a lot of big upsets this week. We had Oregon over Penn State. We were both right on that, by the way, right? We both picked Oregon?
I think so. I hope
Okay.
we did. That'd be awesome.
We had Ole Miss over LSU. I don't remember who we took on that.
I think I took LSU because I do not like Ole Miss this year, but
maybe we both did. And then Alabama over Georgia. I know we both picked Georgia on that. So
yeah, I think I picked Georgia before you did, just to not pick, so that way you didn't have to pick Georgia. But
yeah, well, should have picked Alabama. Anyways, had a week of upsets. We're gonna get into it and talk about some other things. We did have some big news drop at the time of recording this a couple hours ago. Unlike last week where we had the news dropped after we were done filming and had to edit it in, which I don't know if you saw that, Ryan, but that was pretty funny. But let's get into it. Top 5, bottom 5 of the week. We're going to start with the bottom 5. Honorable mention to the bottom 5 was Lane Kiffin for tweeting "take the over" and then proceeding to not hit the over.
Yeah, no, just did not happen. Got the win, I guess.
Yeah, he won.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Whitweek still had a pretty solid day, if I'm right. I feel like that's just as big of a loss. Yeah.
Probably
we said 10 total tackles, a TFL, and I believe he had a fumble recovery.
Lane Kiffin might have had the better day, but Whitweek's probably had the better night. All right, anyways, moving on to number 5 of the bottom 5 is the usual UCLA. Are they going to win a game this year?
I hope not.
Are you was that joke funny?
What?
The one I just made?
I didn't hear it.
You lame-o.
I'm sorry. I apologize. What was the joke?
I said Lane Kiffin probably had a better day than Whitweek's, but Whitweek's probably had a better night.
Dude, that's funny. That's so funny. I'm pissed now. I missed that.
Shoot. That
was good. I like that. I like that. That was funny.
That's whatever. All right. Yeah, UCLA. Are they going to win a game this year? Yeah. Guys,
I hope not.
We're going into week 6. They don't have one. They're not winning this week against Penn State. I can tell you that much.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I could be pretty sure about that. We're both very not big fans of Penn State. I can say they're not winning this week.
Yeah, no, they're gonna get beat, and I'm happy because Nico left for no reason. So
Nico
that's
was
what you get.
A clown show of the offseason and the season so far.
Yeah.
Number 4 of the bottom 5 is Arkansas for. I mean, they just got beat down by Notre Dame. Like, we're talking bad. Purdue put up more points against Notre Dame than Arkansas did.
Yikes. Yeah, no, that's bad. I mean, they weren't like before that game, the last 2 games that they had played against Ole Miss and against Memphis, they looked good. They just couldn't finish the game, and then this week they just came out flat and finished flat.
Mind you, this was going back. Purdue putting up more points against Notre Dame. Notre Dame was at home for that game. This was in Arkansas. This was in Fayetteville.
Oh,
yeah, that's Arkansas. Arkansas really did nothing the whole day, and
that's really bad.
Yeah, and was all she wrote for Sam Pittman, who has now been fired.
Yeah, I mean,
a couple hours ago.
It was only a matter of time, to be honest. Arkansas just hasn't been good.
Nope. They have talent on their team, just hasn't been.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor Green is widely considered one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and I mean, he's out there every week trying to put up good games, and it's just not working.
Moving on to number 3, the bottom 5 is wide receivers in the Georgia and Alabama game. Only when they're wide open for a deep ball. had 2 drop touchdowns, one by each team, one by Ryan Williams in the first possession of the game, and one huge drop by the freshman Talon Taylor late in the game that would have put Georgia up.
I mean, yeah.
Your college athletes, guys, catch your wide open touchdowns. They're free. Take them.
I mean, that's just kind of it's silly mistakes, and it's a freshman mistake. To be honest, you'd expect Ryan Williams to be
I would
making those
say
plays at this point,
I
but
don't know which
I guess he
was.
is the age of a freshman. But even still, like it's just a problem, and it's got to stop.
Yeah, for the most part, there was some good receiver play. Jerby Bernard had a good game. Isaiah Horton had a good game for Alabama. On the Georgia side, Colby Young had a touchdown catch. Yeah, it's just when we're wide open, deep down the field for deep shots.
It's the only time they forget how to use their hands.
Exactly. All right, moving on to number 2 is Drew Aller for once again throwing an interception at the worst time possible.
I don't think you said his name right. I'm pretty sure it's Great Value Bo Perbula. Pretty sure
Yeah,
that's how it's pronounced.
that's your name for him. We're gonna get into that a little bit later, but yeah, just know it happened in the playoffs against Notre Dame last year, and it happened now against Oregon.
I mean,
sooner or later, Drew Aller showing his true colors is inevitable.
It's gonna happen at some point, and he looked good in that fourth quarter too, and he looked good in that first overtime. They got a pretty easy touchdown, a pretty quick touchdown in overtime, but I just had like first play of the drive too. How are you throwing that interception?
Yeah. Moving on to number 1, is Mike Bobo on for calling this play on this down. We're just gonna show it here.
Low snap, flag on the play before the snap. Jones is going to be hauled down, slammed down.
That's a dumb decision. No way to put it.
Yeah,
there are some other parts in the game that were questionable. This was the main one. I was sitting there
I feel
watching,
like
what is this?
I feel like that's a time when you gotta draw something else up.
If you're, I don't know. I'm no coach. I'm no coordinator. I'm definitely not qualified to make this statement. My assumption with that play call is you're not going for the first down. You're going to play for fourth down. If you're going to do
you're
that,
looking for like 4th and 3.
If you're doing that, quarterback draw. That would have been my play call on that 3rd and 9.
Read option, quarterback draw.
If you're going to go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, no. I mean, if you're gonna do something like that, I'd say a quarterback draw or read option is probably your better look.
Yeah, not a screen behind the line of scrimmage to your 3rd down blocking back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to the top 5 of the week. The honorable mention on the top 5 is Louisiana and Marshall for just being a fun game.
Yeah,
hey guys,
dude.
Let's watch some football.
Yeah, I mean, 54-51 in a game that honestly like means nothing really for either team. I mean, Marshall's 2-3 at this point. Louisiana now 2-3. The over under on this game was 48.5. They smashed it just to pieces.
Yeah,
and it's just, I mean, that's an exciting game. That's awesome.
I love football. That's what that game screams to me.
Yeah, exactly. A double overtime game, 105 combined points. They're just out there for the love of the game.
Moving on to number 5, kind of the opposite of one of the bottom 5s, is Notre Dame for going into Fayetteville and smashing the Hogs pretty much from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, this is finally a team that looks like they're able to compete. I mean, they're 2-2, so it's gonna be a tough path to get back into the college football playoff. But CJ Carr actually looked really good against what was proving to be a pretty tough Arkansas team. He looked good. He went 22 of 30, 354 yards, 4 touchdowns. Can't really ask for much of a better day than that. Jadarian Price also looked really good. 13 carries, 86 yards, and a touchdown. Jordan Faison, 7 for 89 receiving. I mean, overall, just a really good showing offensively and defensively for Notre Dame.
Yeah, got some weapons for Arkansas on the offensive side, and Notre Dame did a good job. They had a defense that was being questioned a little bit, but they took care of business this week. Moving on to number 4, Makai Lemon. That guy is special. Even though USC fell short to Illinois, Makai Lemon had himself a day. What was it? 11 catches, 151 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean he honestly put the team on his back yesterday, and they came close. They got to a point where they were in the game and they could have won. Probably should have won. But yeah, I mean, just absolutely dominant day. Was holding on to pretty much everything. He looked really good.
What it felt like, I don't know. We were together watching this game, but we weren't really
Hmm.
all eyes paid attention to it. But every time we looked over, it kind of seemed like, wow, nice catch by Makai Lemon. Every single time, he just was
Just every
always
few plays, it felt like it was going to Lemon.
always making the big plays. Excellent game for him. Moving on to number 3, Heisman campaign continues for Ahmad Hardy. Another 131 yards on the ground across, well, I think it was 24 carries and 3 touchdowns to add on to that. He now officially leads the country in rushing, and that's by 100 yards.
Ahmad Hardy. There is literally nothing I can say.
Ahmad Hardy.
7.1 yards per carry, 9 touchdowns now, 730 yards. And it's not even like it's the O-line that should win this Heisman. He is breaking tackles like it's nothing. He will get stood up and will continue the play even after the whistle, and he'll be the last one standing out of everyone. And it's so fun to watch.
That's my favorite type of running backs. Speed guys are nice, but when you see
He's a
somebody,
speed guy too. He's still a
oh,
speed guy. That's the thing.
he's got speed, but I'm talking just pure speed. It's so fun
Yeah.
to watch guys like Hardy just run through a linebacker's face, play
And
after
then
play
go
after
up
play.
for another 20 yards.
Yeah, somehow stay up for another 20 yards. Moving on to number 2 is the Dante Moore, Decorian Moore connection. We said if Oregon was going to win, they were going to have to play good, didn't it? And they did. They showed up.
Yeah. Showed out. 248 for Dante Moore, 89 for Decorian Moore.
I really like Dante Moore. He throws he's got he was making some good looking throws in Happy Valley on Saturday. And Decorian Moore might be the best freshman in the country. Which, to be fair, he was rated as the number 1 freshman in the country, so obviously
For good reason.
For good reason, no. But yeah, what a game for those two, and a win against number 3 Penn State.
Yeah.
All right. Number 1 for top 5 of the week is Virginia. They're more specifically their fans for the fastest field rush I think I've ever seen. That was instant.
It could not have been quicker. Just instantaneously, that receiver got atomized.
The poor Squirrel White, man. I think it was Squirrel White at least.
Oh my gosh. That's like a $3 million fine in the SEC, I feel like. Not even just the 500,000, like they would get like added penalties for that one.
It's dangerous, yes. Hopefully Squirrel White is okay. I think he all reports saying he's okay after getting ran over. But just the spectacle of that being an immediate field rush that quickly, like I said, I don't think I've seen one that fast.
No.
All right. Upsets, a lot of them this week. We already went over 3 of them. Just kind of what's been the theme. It seems to be, one we didn't mention, obviously. We just mentioned it, Virginia over Florida State. Does it feel like there's more upsets than usual? Than a usual college football season this season? Or, I don't know, is this just kind of an even playing field more than we think?
I think it's just like overall the skill talent or the skill is a little bit closer than we initially thought. And I think there are just sometimes where players will just make the wrong decision at the wrong time in certain cases. Like UVA beat Florida State 46-38. That was pretty back and forth, but I'm pretty sure Florida State spotted Virginia, nearly. Okay, so Florida State spotted Virginia 14 points. You can't go down 14-0 in a game and expect to win on the road.
Yeah. Well, the way I think about a lot of these upsets, Virginia, Florida State, upset for sure. Oregon, Penn State, I thought Oregon was the better team.
I thought Oregon was a better team, but that's a whiteout game. That's a tough environment. Oregon
I
came in with a great plan. They had a really good silent count,
Yeah, I did
and
see that. I did see that.
I saw, yeah, that was. I mean, they played well, and they came out with a win.
I'd still think it's technically an upset, but I've been thinking Oregon was the better team for the
Like
last maybe
as
three,
much
four
as it
weeks.
wasn't an upset, it still was an upset.
Yeah,
Like it still is an upset.
yeah. And Ole Miss, LSU, uh, teams look pretty even until the very end. I consider this one an upset. It's a 9 ranking gap, and Ole
Yeah,
Miss did look questionable. So I'd say that's an upset. And then Alabama, Georgia, Bama just owns Georgia. That's
yeah, it's
write it
kind of
in
what it is at
concrete at
this
this
point.
point. Write it in concrete at this point. One game I was really enjoying watching was that Mississippi State Tennessee game that went into overtime. Tennessee
Yeah,
just
nearly an upset.
got out. Well, we said Mississippi State could hang with Tennessee, and they did. Um, just came
But
up
then,
just short at the end.
yeah, but even like other games, you're looking at Arizona State, TCU. That game shouldn't have been an upset conversation, but it was. Arizona State beat out TCU. You had multiple teams almost lose this week as well. You had Georgia Tech
Georgia
almost lose
Tech
to Wake
won
Forest.
in overtime against Wake Forest, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, barely won
Vanderbilt
that
let
one.
Utah State put up 35.
They were playing them tight for a bit. Cincinnati beat Kansas. That's an upset. I mean, you've got all these other games. I saw it earlier. It was an unranked game. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was a close game. Um, now I can't find it. Awesome. Um, but it was an upset week, and it was a close week for games overall. And oh, Indiana Iowa was almost an upset.
That was almost an upset.
Ohio
Um,
State Washington was close for a bit.
yeah,
I mean,
that game's closer than the score implies.
yeah.
That was that was pretty close until the very end. I'd want to say.
I mean, you could call Illinois, USC an upset. Those are two pretty even teams. Um, especially, I mean, you could call that an upset, especially after Illinois lost the way they did the week prior. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's any given Saturday this year.
Yeah. I mean, I just completely agree with you. It feels a lot more like any given Saturday than what it usually is. But yeah, there's a lot of good teams. Like I feel like there's a significantly more amount of good teams than there usually are. And I'm talking about across all conferences. There's teams that
Yeah,
look better than there's teams that look worse than we thought preseason. There's teams that look much better than we thought preseason. I don't know. It's just at this point of the season, we kind of have an idea of okay, this team's good, this team's not, and I feel like there's less of that idea this year than there usually is.
yeah, no, completely agree.
All right, now to a more focused question. We talked about Penn State, Oregon, and talked about Drew Aller in the bottom five. They mentioned this on College Game Day last week. Did Penn State make a mistake? Did they pick the wrong quarterback?
Yeah, 100%. No
They
doubt in my mind that they 100% picked the wrong quarterback when it comes to Drew Aller versus Bo Perbula.
they let Perbula ended up transferring out at the last season when Drew Aller announced he was returning for his 5th year. So, Perbula was trying to get that starting job, and if Aller would have left, it would have been his job. But once Drew Aller said he was sorry, Perbula went to the portal and is now at Missouri, and he's had much better numbers than Aller throughout the first 4 games of the season.
Yeah, no, he has looked like the quarterback that Penn State wants Drew Aller to be. Granted, honestly, both teams really haven't had that tough of a schedule. This was really Penn State's first, test, and Aller looked all right for most of the game, and obviously through the game-losing interception, and that's kind of like his biggest problem is he's not a very clutch quarterback. He doesn't make the right decisions at the right times in those games. And Bo Prabula has looked really good. He's had an interception in the last 3 games, and they haven't really needed to lean on the pass as much in the last 3 games. But he still had a really good game last time out. He went 26 of 29 yesterday, 241, a touchdown interception. So minus the interception, he only had 2 incompletions. I mean, you can't really ask for much more when you're looking at that.
I thought it was pretty funny and kind of a troll by Game Day to do this on Saturday. If you don't know, College Game Day this week was in Penn State for Penn State, Oregon. And the hosts in their nice white suits for the whiteout did this segment where they did a QB comparison between two silhouetted QBs. The one on the left has 84 total QBR, 11 touchdowns responsible, and their team is 4-0. The other QB, 39 QBR, 4 touchdowns, 3-0. The one on the left was Bo Prabula, and the one on the right was Drew Aller. Penn State started
I wonder who's better
once they revealed who that was. And it was kind of, okay. So we see them side by side. We see one was chosen over the other. We're showing you which one was chosen over who. One of them is your quarterback, and your quarterback is the one with worse numbers right now.
Yeah, I mean, he has looked very mid at best.
Yeah, that's. I feel like out of any quarterback, Drew Allard has had the most range of opinions on him. From some people thinking he's the top pick in this upcoming draft, to some people just thinking he sucks flat out.
Yeah, I mean, like the completion percentage was there against Nevada. It really was. It really hasn't been there since. I mean, he's sitting in that 55 to 57 range over his last 3 games. Has an interception in the last 2 now. And like, yeah, Perbula also has interceptions now. And he's up to 3. Aller still only has 2, but Perbula's completion percentage is still a lot better than Aller's.
I agree. And for me, the thing with Drew Aller for me is the guy's talented. The guy's got the intangibles that you want. He's not an elevator to me, I don't think. He doesn't elevate his team, especially in, like you mentioned, very clutch moments. I don't think he's exactly a clutch quarterback. You saw this was a big game for Penn State. Obviously, number 3 against number 6 at home. This is the type of game you're like, okay, if Drew Aller's the guy, this is the game. He should elevate his team and be really good. 14 of 25, 137, 2 touchdowns and a pick. That's an average at best line. That's not something you would see out of a quarterback that elevates. Quarterback that I did see elevate on Saturday was Ty Simpson. He came in firing his team up and was, showed precision the whole night. 24 of 38, 276, 2 touchdowns. And, I mean, especially on third down, he was dialed in, up with the best quarterbacks in the country. Ty Simpson might be one, especially when it's crunch time and you need your quarterback to make a play. I just don't see Drew Aller being that.
Well, and it's not even that for me. Like, the one thing that I don't like about Drew Aller, he's not a leader. He,
No.
he doesn't seem like a leader to me, and he seen. I saw it in the Notre Dame game last year in the college football playoff. It was 3rd and 1. Defense needed to make a stop to get the offense back on the field in a tie game, I think. Gave up a first down, gave up 2 yards, and Drew Aller is there on the bench just, no way, dude. Like, that's a reaction I make when that happens.
As a
and
fan.
It's like,
as a fan.
As a fan. And it's like, that's not the reaction I want my quarterback to have. I want to see my quarterback, watching film, seeing what I can do on the next drive. I want to see him talking with the coach. I want to see him talking with the offensive line, receivers, running back. I want to see him doing something else other than just complaining. And, that's a big thing in why, some teams, even with, okay quarterback play, they still go out there and perform because they know, all right, he's got my back, I got his. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to be a leader. Fine, I got his back all the way. I trust him with my life, that type of deal. But if you're going to go out there and you're going to complain at your defense, it's just like, they don't. There's just it doesn't look good.
Agreed, especially. That's a big part of playing quarterback is your role as a captain, a leader, and especially we see the best have their teams rally around them, and opposed to this just themselves being talented. You gotta, as we mentioned, elevate what is around you. So, for going back to the question that we asked, did Penn State pick the wrong QB? I think so.
Yeah,
Granted,
100%.
the season's still young. The guy could turn it around as of right now. Yeah, they made a mistake, I think.
100%.
All right. Going into week 6, most teams played 4 or 5 games. We've had an idea. We've had some conference play start. I want you to go through. We're gonna go through each Power 4 conference and say which team we think is the best out of each Power 4 conference. Starting with, we'll start the Big 12 because that's one's gonna be the most toss-up one.
Okay. I'm looking at that conference right now. I don't think there's even a question at who the best team is. I think it's Texas Tech.
Agreed.
And
100%.
I don't really think it's close. Their defense has only allowed 45 points so far. They held the Utes to 10 points last week, and Utah went out this week and just obliterated West Virginia. Not even a close game for the entirety of the game. And I mean, it just shows how good that Texas Tech defense really is.
Yeah. Absolutely agree with you. Texas Tech, they've dominated offensively in some games, defensively in others. They've done it at home, on the road. They've done it with their starting quarterback. They've done it with their backup quarterback. They've done it every step in the way. Texas Tech has looked like the team to beat in the Big 12. They got a big game coming up this week against Houston. Just another test for them.
Now, I will say, yeah, that'll be a good game. And I feel like the Big 12 has the most like opportunity for those big upsets because I feel like they are all really close when it comes to playing level. But I will say Iowa State has still looked really good, and I could definitely see them still winning the Big 12. But right now, I think Texas Tech is the best team.
100%. Moving on to the ACC, I think we should also have the same answer here. The answer is Miami, correct?
Yeah, I mean,
far.
before this week,
Far.
it could have been argued that it's Florida State. And I still think Florida State has a shot to make that ACC championship, but right now it's Miami. They've looked the best out of all of them. They've dominated all 4 weeks, and they're 2-0 against AP top 25 teams.
Agreed. Big 10. I'm gonna go the Oregon Ducks.
I think it's Oregon as well. I think Ohio State's one win, to be honest, one big time win.
Was Texas.
Yeah, and it continues to look worse and worse as the season goes on. I don't think Texas is exactly the team that everyone thought they would be, and we'll probably get into that at some point in the near future. But they just haven't looked like the team that they were supposed to be, and Ohio State offensively really hasn't looked great. Defensively, they look like they can be a championship winning defense. So I think it'll be interesting to see how the Big Ten plays out for the rest of the year. But right now, it's Oregon. They're explosive. They're fun. They're winning, and they're winning big when they need to.
The SEC. I think there's about like maybe 4 answers you could give for this one. And I feel like all of them would be justified.
I don't know who the best team in the SEC is.
I don't either. That's why I said I think you could give 4 answers because you look at, let's see, currently the team with the most national praise in the SEC, at least I'm going to make the assumption that this is the team with the most national praise is, oh wow. I'm just looking at the rest right now. Ole Miss jumped up to 4?
Yeah.
Well, then it's Ole Miss then.
Ole Miss and LSU flipped.
Okay. So I'm wrong.
Were you going to say Oklahoma?
Yeah, I thought so, but then their quarterback's out. So, kind of got a question mark there. I guess talking about Ole Miss, I mean, they just look good against LSU, but they haven't looked good against inferior teams. So, You know, maybe Ole Miss is one of those teams that plays up to competition, but also down to competition.
Just one of those frustrating teams.
One of those teams that, you know, they look good, but you unexpectedly they could just drop a game here or there to someone they really shouldn't drop a game to. Also up there, Texas A&M, if their defense shows up, their offense looks good. Alabama on the other side, you know, their defense, especially when containing run games, that's been their struggle. They look good if they can contain the run, which, you know, that was a big part of their one loss was they couldn't really stop Florida State running. And then there's Vanderbilt, who's 5-0. There's Missouri, who's 5-0. At this point for the SEC, it's the one conference I really don't have an answer.
There's no right answer. There are right now 4 teams that are out of contention for the SEC championship.
Kentucky,
Arkansas, Florida, Auburn,
Florida.
Kentucky.
Yep.
They are the 4 bottom teams in the conference. I only say Auburn because their schedule doesn't get any easier.
No. And they just
and then Kentucky, Florida, and Arkansas. I mean, they're not good teams.
And with Auburn, man, their offense just looks stale. Hugh Freeze called the plays for them against Texas A&M this week. They look stale on offense.
No, they did not look good this week. But then you look at the rest of the conference. Maybe South Carolina isn't really in it anymore either, just because they have a pair of losses. But you look at the rest of the conference. Mississippi State just took their first loss to a Tennessee team that lost by 1 score to Georgia.
They lost by 3 to Georgia, and Mississippi State took that team to overtime. So they're no
they
slouch.
took that one to overtime. They're very much in it. Texas, if Arch can get going, that defense is still death row. So if Arch can get going, the sky's the limit for Texas, in all honesty. I mean, Tennessee, they have looked really good. Offensively looked great. Defense still a question. You look at LSU.
Their defenses look good.
Opposite story. Defenses looked phenomenal. Offenses looked questionable. And it's honestly, those are the 2 teams that are flipped right now. Because we came into the season with questions about the offense for Tennessee, and now we're questioning the defense. Questioning LSU's offense right now when we thought it'd be the defense that would be questionable. And then you look at Georgia. I have complete faith that Kirby can adjust. Going down the season. It sucks that it's another loss to Alabama because it's like, well, they can't really beat Bama. And it's, you know, that's not what you want to see. But, I mean, I have immense faith that Kirby can make those adjustments. Bama obviously looks great right now. Then you're getting into the undefeateds. Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Vandy, Mizzou, Ole Miss all look great right now.
This is what I thought the Big 12 would look like. If I'm being honest.
Seriously.
I mean, granted, now the most only 2 teams have played 3 conference games. That'd be Ole Miss, who's 3-0 in conference play, and South Carolina's 1-2. There are some teams who have played none, and by some I mean 1. That's Texas. But yeah, a lot of teams have only played 1. So we haven't really gotten into a lot of big interconference matchups, but we will. And yeah, right now there's really no telling who's gonna come out as the top 2 teams at the end of it.
2 weeks from now is a big time game. Red River, Oklahoma, Texas.
That would be
could be a potential top 10 matchup.
Yeah, Texas has kind of been on its own island the entire season. We haven't really gotten to see them against the rest of the SEC yet. They haven't played a conference game.
They just played all 4 of their non-con games at the start of the year. That's all
so
it is.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly why. So we, compared to the rest of the conference, we really can't see how Texas matches up. So I'm excited for who is their first game this week?
Florida.
Do they play this week? Florida. Okay.
On the road.
That's not a. Excuse me. Not an easy place to play in. The Swamp. Nope. Florida hasn't looked good though, so it's unknown. This will be a good first gauge for Texas before they play Oklahoma.
Second gauge.
In terms of the rest of the conference.
Yes. First gauge against Yeah.
All right. Moving on to our last kind of discussion point of the week. Out of all of the coaches in college football, we have 5 listed here, but this is a really broad question. Which coach could benefit the most or needs the most a national championship this year? The 5 we have written down are Dan Lanning, James Franklin, Kalen DeBoer, Lane Kiffin, and Brian Kelly.
I think when I made this question, you said it was James Franklin, and I think you're right.
I would say James Franklin.
But I think it's also Brian Kelly, and I mean we've talked about it 15 times now. It's Brian Kelly, and I mean it was Saban and it was Orgeron. They both won natties.
Les Miles as well.
Yeah, they all won natties within what, their first 2 years, 3 years
So
at LSU.
all 3 of those guys were year 2.
Year 2, they all won in year 2, and Brian Kelly's in year 4. And as an LSU fan, you are expecting a national championship this year. So,
especially with all the talent that you brought in, the talent you retained, you expected better than right now.
You expected better offensively. Defense has been
especially
out of its mind.
Defense has been really good for LSU. It's just the offense that's taken a step back. Even though they brought in talent at receiver to try and replace some that they lost in the offseason. And still, it's been a step back.
Now, I'm also gonna throw in Dan Lanning for the argument here, and I say this because Oregon went undefeated into the playoffs last year, and then got demolished by Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, and it just wasn't like, it wasn't even like, oh, it was close for a little bit. No, it was the entire game, the whole way through. Wasn't a close game, and you had beaten Ohio State earlier in the year. I don't understand how you go from beating a team to getting demolished by them, and in the first round that you're playing in the college football playoff, as the number 1 team. Now you've got a big win against Penn State. You're undefeated once again. You're looking like that number 1 team again. I think you could need this to really solidify yourself as a top coach in a top program.
I would counteract that compared to, if we're talking in terms of prestige in programs you're in, I'd say Lanning doesn't have it as bad as the rest of these guys. Lanning,
I don't think so either.
Lanning has taken Oregon to the best spot they've been in a decade, pretty much. I mean, since Lanning is in year 4 at Oregon. Yeah, year 4. He has done more at Oregon than James Franklin has done at Penn State.
True.
He's done more than Lane Kiffin has at Ole Miss, and he's done more than Brian Kelly has at LSU. I'd say out of those 3 guys I just named, I'd say Kiffin gets the pass here, because in terms of national, like, just program prestige and kind of expectations,
I completely agree.
Win now, I feel like Kiffin is, in his current situation, at least a step below Kelly or Franklin in terms of what you're expected of this year. I think there's a natty more expected out of Penn State or LSU than there is Ole Miss.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
And then DeBoer, we haven't brought up DeBoer yet. I don't think necessarily he needs the natty this year, but that would really save face for him. I think he just needs to have a playoff making run.
I think he needs a playoff run.
Show you're for real. I don't really think they need the natty. Kalen DeBoer's a good coach. He's a fantastic coach. Took Washington to the national championship his last year with the Huskies. Had a disappointing year by Bama standards last year. If I'm Bama,
it was interesting though. It was interesting. He tied the first-year head coach most wins for Alabama.
Yeah,
at 9.
No. Well, most of the pressure from DeBoer comes as in you're taking over for the greatest coach in college football history. Do something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
you're coming into the best position you could possibly be, inheriting a program. run by Nick Saban. So there
Yeah.
are expectations immediately for you, and I think that's kind of why there's pressure on DeBoer. If he was literally in any other situation, his name wouldn't be on this list. But unfortunately, he is in the extraordinary situation he is in. But yeah, like I said,
I think
DeBoer.
also
Go ahead.
I think also some of it last year is you go out and you beat Georgia and you're the number one ranked team, and then you get beat by Vanderbilt the very next week, and it's like, how do you lose to Vanderbilt? And then in one of the last weeks, you get pummeled by Oklahoma, who was on receiver 9, 10, 11, and DB 13, 14, 15. So,
If
like,
I'm good.
I just think that's where some of the pressure comes from. Is you just had some of those bad losses that kept you out of the playoff.
Now, one of the main criticisms with DeBoer um, was answered this past weekend. One of the main criticisms with DeBoer is he can't win on the road. He just went and won on the road in a play in the stadium that had the longest held winning streak in the country. Georgia
As the longest home win streak in the SEC now.
It's Missouri, but Georgia had not lost a game at home since 2019. And
that's nuts.
DeBoer, the guy who they said couldn't win on the road, just won on the road at that place. So, I don't think DeBoer needs a natty. A playoff run would be suffice for him, but a natty would be. You got this. This is your show, man.
I mean, yeah, this is your program now.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to our games of the week. We only got 5 this week. There isn't as big of a slate this week as there has been the past couple weeks, but still got some really good games. Starting off, College Game Day, Vanderbilt at Alabama. Bama coming off that huge win against Georgia, of course. Vandy undefeated, looking to make it 2 in a row against the Tide after they shocked them in Nashville last year. This game in Tuscaloosa, College Game Day will be there. Ryan, who do you have?
I love Diego Pavia. He is one of my favorite quarterbacks in all of college football just because he is one of the most hateable quarterbacks in all of college football. But he's fun to watch because he was a small school quarterback that, went through the transfer portal a couple of times, went to Vanderbilt, got to play SEC ball, and, he's been balling out with Vanderbilt. Has really turned that, program around. And so is Clark Lee. Don't get me wrong, head coach Lee has done a phenomenal job, but Diego Pavia is obviously the show there. And I just, as much as I would like to say Vanderbilt wins this game, it's going to be it's got to be Alabama. They're going to be in Tuscaloosa. They're going to be thinking about, we lost to this team last year. We're going to beat them this time because we can't do that 2 years in a row. And I think Bama gets a big win, but I'm thinking somewhere along the lines of like 31-20. And I think Ty Simpson has another great game.
Oh man, different situation than it was last year. Last year we had Bama coming off a win against Georgia, and they might have just let their guard down just enough for Vanderbilt to go in and take the upset. I don't think Bama's going to do that this year. They know Vandy's the real deal, and I think Bama's going to come to play. I will take Alabama as well.
Not saving the graphic. All right.
There's 2 of us. What graphic?
It's the joke.
I know. Moving on to the next game, Miami, Florida State. Thinking about Florida State coming off that loss to Virginia, you would think Miami's got to have this, right? But I look at a pattern being recognized here as teams will lose a game and, you'd assume they're going to be down on themselves. No. I think this has been an effect of the 12-team playoffs. Teams know one game is not your season.
No.
You just saw, after Illinois get pummeled by Indiana, come back and take down USC. Trust me when I say this, Florida State is going to come prepared at their home stadium where they, had a huge upset in week 1 earlier in the year. Give me the Noles.
I like that pick. But I think Carson Beck is experienced enough. The former Bulldog, he's got a lot of winning to his name, and he's been playing a lot better. He's been playing more cleaned up than he has in previous years, and it's helped the Hurricanes a lot. And that defense has been phenomenal. I mean, they're everywhere on the defensive side, and I think that's going to be enough. I think Castellanos is going to have a little bit of trouble with it, and I think Miami's going to take this one.
Okay. Uh, Moving on to Virginia and Louisville. Virginia, of course, coming off that big win against Florida State. They move in to the top 25 this past week, and now they take on Louisville on the road. Louisville undefeated. I'm going to go ahead and say Virginia might have a little speed bump here, even though they're feeling up about themselves and being ranked. I'm going to go Louisville here.
Yeah, I think last week was a any given Saturday type of week, and you know I don't know that Virginia's going to get that win again. I mean, they have fallen short earlier in the year against another conference opponent. Now, it didn't count as a conference game. Their only loss of the season was on the road against NC State, and it didn't count as a conference opponent, which I think, thankfully for them, but they're on the road at Louisville. Give me the Cardinals.
Am I dumb? Why did that not count as a Why did that not count as a conference game?
Why did it not count as a conference game?
Virginia and NC State.
Yeah, it. Don't ask me. I don't know why. They just were like, "No, we're not counting it as a conference game." It was so dumb.
What?
I don't understand why you play a conference. Why you're allowed to do that? Why you're allowed to play a conference opponent and not call it a conference game?
The Virginia NC State football game wasn't counted as a conference game because the Atlantic Coastal Conference eliminated its divisional structure, which led to a new scheduling model that doesn't guarantee annual matchups for all its historic rivals. To preserve the rivalry, both schools arranged a separate non-conference home and home series that falls outside the ACC schedule. I did not know you could do that.
That's low key dumb.
I actually like that. That's like if in the new schedule for the SEC next year, LSU Alabama said we still want to play, but since the SEC isn't going to
They're
schedule,
not going to do that though.
they're not. But like that's it. Okay, I get that. That makes sense now. I was just like, what? I understand that. That's on the ACC for not preserving that rivalry. All right. Next game of the week. Oh, sorry. All right, moving on. Next game of the week: Houston, Texas Tech. Another road test for the Red Raiders. But they've shown they can get things done on the road. I'm gonna go the Red Raiders again.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I think this could be a trap game for Texas Tech, I'm gonna continue to roll with the Red Raiders. I think their defense is phenomenal. I think the way they're playing their offense is really well, and I think they're gonna take care of business pretty easily.
All right, and moving on to the final game of the week, Mississippi State just falling short to Tennessee, taking on Texas A&M in College Station. Mississippi State has shown they're no pushover this year. Already doubled their win total from last year, but they're not going to be an easy team to beat. But with that being said, Tennessee turned the ball over 3 times against Mississippi State. This Texas A&M team, they don't turn the ball over as much as Tennessee, and if they can limit it to maybe 1 turnover, I think Texas A&M should win this game with some comfort.
Yeah, I mean it's in College Station. Um, this is gonna be. I feel like I don't want to call this a trap game for Texas A&M because I mean they don't really have any tough opponent. Tough, I say in quotes, opponents coming up. You know, they're still a couple of weeks out from LSU and Mizzou. They got Arkansas and Florida, who have both been struggling this year. Um, I think they should be able to handle business pretty easily. There won't be too many cowbells, at least. there this week, and I think Texas A&M is. I don't think they're gonna show why they're the number 6 team in the country, but I think they're gonna get a good win here, and they're gonna stay in the top 10.
All right. That is going to do it for us on episode 11 of the Pre-Snap Pressure Podcast. Week 6, college football on the way in after another good week of week 5. We are going to see you guys next week.